How you doing? My name is Matt. I'm the chef at Meyers Restaurant and Bar, and I'd like to show you one of our recipes today. Today I'm going to make sauerbraten for you. Happens to be a favorite of the customers. What we need to start with, you want to start with a plastic container for the marinade. And what I got going here is 2 quarts of red wine vinegar and 1 quart of white vinegar. To that, you're going to want to add 3 cups of sugar, and as you do it, you're going to want to whisk it in. Whisking it will help break down the sugar. You don't want that stuff to sink to the bottom. You want the flavor to get in there. After you stir that for a few seconds, you're going to want to add 1 quart of Pepsi or Coca-Cola. That's one of the secret ingredients. That's what makes it nice and sweet. Gets that nice flavor in there. To that, you're going to want to add about 3/4 cup of pickling spice. Pickling spice you can find in any grocery store, the spice section. It's a combination of peppercorn, juniper berries, bay leaves. Nice medley of seasonings. Next thing you're going to want to add is mirepoix, which is approximately 1 carrot chopped up, 1 medium yellow onion chopped up, and 3 ribs of celery chopped up. Add that in. And then as far as the meat, we use a boneless chuck flat meat. You can also use boneless beef ball tip. Those will work just as well. Once the marinade is all mixed, I'm going to just place the meat right inside. Now you want to use a plastic container for this because you want to make sure it doesn't interact with metal. If you use metal, the chance of the vinegar is going to react. You're going to get a metallic taste to your meat, and you definitely don't want that. So once the brine's in, you want to cover it. Now you're going to want to keep this in the refrigerator for 7 to 10 days. Personally, I would keep it in there for at least 10. You don't have to worry about it going bad because it's got vinegar in there. It's going to keep it from spoiling. Okay, now after you've had your meat marinating for 10 days, you want to pull it out of the brine, and you want to notice this deep color. You're not going to have any red because all that meat, all that marinade has injected itself into that meat and made it nice and tender. It's already tender. So the next step what you want to do is you want to start putting in a hot saute pan. You want to brown it, and then you also want to take your pickling spice and marinade and you want to heat it up, bring it to a boil. What you're going to do is you're going to cook the meat right in that brine that's been soaking in for 10 days. That's going to give it a nice great flavor that's been marinating in all that time. So once you've got your meat brown, you want to transfer it right into a pan. Now you want to have your oven at 350 degrees, so it's all ready to go. You just want to go ahead and pour all that brine right over top. You want to keep the carrots, keep all the spices, everything right in there. Because that's all going to be flavor that's going to make it nice and tender. Then we're just going to cover it up with some foil. You want to throw it in the oven, 350 degrees, for an hour to an hour and a half. You want it nice and tender and be able to slice it and it's going to be melting in your mouth. Okay, now that the meat's cooked, you want to take it out of the oven. What you're going to do is grab a tongs. You're going to pull that meat out. Look at that, fall apart tender. This is exactly what you're looking for. You don't want it too soft. You want it to have it so your guests are just like, this is the best meat I ever had. Pull it out. Want to let it rest for a little bit. While you're letting it rest, now we're going to make the gravy. Now this is a little old world secret. You take that same brine that you've used to marinate the meat, to cook the meat, we're going to get one more use out of it. 3rd time's the charm. What you want to do is now you're going to strain this right into a stock pot. You want to get all those carrots, you want to get everything out of there. So now we just have that brine going. I'm going to bring that to a boil. And what we're going to add to that is ginger snap cookies. You want to take some ginger snaps, you want to puree them so they're nice and crumbly like that. You're going to slowly incorporate ginger snaps into that sauce. What this is going to do, this is going to thicken that sauce. It's going to take away the vinegary flavor. It's going to bring out a nice little sharp ginger flavor, but it's going to, most especially, it's going to sweeten up that dish. Now, how much you want to add will all depend on how thick you want your gravy. My suggestion is add a little at a time. You can always make it thicker, but once you make it too thick, then you have to go back and add a little Pepsi. You want to start out a little bit thinner. I'm going to add a little bit more here. Look at that nice color. That's the kind of color you want right there. And by pulsing your ginger snap cookies and having them crumbs, it makes it a thin gravy right away. You can add whole ginger snaps, but with that you're going to have to strain the gravy afterwards to get all those lumps out of it. So now that we got our gravy done, it's all set, ready to go. Now we're going to plate the dish. Grab your knife. Cut the meat. Look at that nice color. It doesn't even look like beef anymore, but it's very good beef. Give it a few slices. Bring it over to your plate. Lay it out just like that. We'll even throw on this piece too. We're being generous today. You want to make your guests feel good. To that, we're going to add some homemade braised red cabbage. This is also a Meyers House specialty, made in-house. And this is sweet and sour red cabbage. It's got some great flavor. Now to that, we're going to also add a homemade potato dumpling. Another item that's made in-house, fresh, every day at Meyers. So now what you're going to want to do, you're going to add some of that great gravy. You just bring that pot right over, take that gravy, ladle some right over that. And you got to put a little over your potato dumpling. Give it that nice ginger flavor. I'm going to put a shot of parsley. And there you go, traditional German dish at a very low price on the south side. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you make it at home. If you don't, you can always come to Meyers.